Let's get started.
Hello everyone, I am Tiara Whitney and welcome back to this episode of Joy in the Journey. I have this podcast because I love bringing people on this platform to share their stories, to share their testimonies and their journeys, and just to share with us the joy they had on getting through everything that they've been through. And so I just had to bring my friend on here, my church sister and all the above. I had to bring my friend Kela Guy on this platform. I love her so dearly. She's so charismatic. She's just so just authentic, all these wonderful things. So I had to bring her on this platform so we can share just her journey and the things that she
Hello.
Hi, Kela. Okay, so I know I met you at church. Been about maybe 4 years, maybe somewhere in there. And what I know about you is that you are a believer, a true believer, a Jesus lover, a wife, a mother, and sorority sister, right? Okay. Can you tell the audience a little bit more about you?
Okay. A lot to tell. So I'm originally from Muncie, Indiana.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I'm from Muncie.
Okay.
And so I met my husband while I was at Ball State.
Okay.
He's a little older.
Both.
Yeah, we
at
both
Ball State.
were at Ball State. He's a little older than me, so when I was coming in, he was going out.
Okay.
And so I met him, and so that's how I ended up in Fort Wayne. And so, and I'm going to say this because it goes kind of along with my journey. I was at a nonprofit organization, and I worked with pregnant and parenting teens.
Okay.
I love that job. I really,
Pregnant
pregnant parenting teens.
Stay right there.
Okay.
I'm about to move this camera back.
Okay. By trade, I am a clinical social worker, but I also love my world because I have the natural and also the spiritual piece. And I love truly ministering to God's people. And I like the fact that how he gives me things, sometimes it comes off funny. And we want to reach people and talk to people, but sometimes people feel like they can't relate to us because we so deep, per se.
Yeah.
So God has truly, and in my journey, given me a gift of encouragement and laughter. And that truly,
he has.
That's who I am.
It is, and I love it because I'm a laugher. Like,
okay.
I've never been a person to tell jokes. I've always just been the one that laughed all the time. So you be cracking me up. So yeah. Okay.
So anyway, that's who I am, and you know, people probably know me most from singing, but my true calling is, thank you, is to be an intercessor. Kind of people don't always know that. Kind of a midwife and to stand in the gap for people. That is what God has called me to do.
Wait a minute. Okay, so explain a little bit more what that is.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's, I guess the best way to say it, an intercessor is somebody that will go on behalf of somebody else.
Okay.
Kind of standing in the gap.
Okay.
So for instance, say you were dealing with a sickness and you were hospitalized, you couldn't speak, but you had someone, either knowingly or unknowingly, who was going to God on your behalf, interceding, going in between you and God.
Wow. Ooh, I love that. That's good because I never heard, like, I never really heard that being a thing. You know, like I've heard of people kind of doing things like that, but I never knew it was like a thing, to do.
And a lot of times people don't see that in church because you see, you know, the people who are normally out front, but even intercessors, like for our pastor, you know, I think pastors, spiritual leaders, CEOs, whoever, they go through a lot. You need people to get up under and truly and authentically and honestly, like, undergird you in prayer.
You do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do notice that you do that, but I just never put a name on it.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I love it.
You know, and sometimes I used to feel like, well, where's my place? Or that's not a thing, but it is. So now I'm comfortable in my own skin, in my own lane. You know that this is what God has called me to do. So
I love it.
That's who I am. And I got 3 little ones.
I was just
Oh Lord, yes.
So you got 3. What's the ages?
6, 5, and 3.
What is that like?
It's busy.
I bet.
It really, really is. It is busy. It's loud. It's funny, and they teach me a lot. So I sit back and I look at them, or they'll say something, and I'm like, "What? Where did that come from?" And so I learn a lot from them. But it's very, very busy. I'm seeing the personalities starting to develop, which is funny. And then I have 3 children that are in heaven.
Let's talk about it.
So altogether, I have 6 children.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. Talk about it. Okay, you said you have 3 children in heaven. Those are before the 3 you have now.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I knew a long time ago that I had a medical diagnosis, but sometimes when you're younger and you're not thinking about starting a family, it really didn't matter. I really didn't care.
Did you know at the time, like, it could have affected?
Yes.
Okay, but you just.
But I didn't know how deep. I heard it and I knew, but I really, I was younger, and so it really didn't mean anything. So yeah, I was told. I think when I was in college, like, you got some things, going on, and it might affect you having children or whatever. And I'm like, okay, but that was like an afterthought, so it really didn't, bother you like that. I really didn't care. And so when we got married, and then after some time, it's like something is wrong, And so, long story short, I started going through fertility treatments, like different medications, whatever, which it just does a number on your mind, those drugs, body and spirit. And so I went through all kinds of different things, and the miracle is, I think it was 2008 is when I was pregnant with my first baby. And then it was maybe 6 weeks later, a doctor said, well, a lot of women miscarry their first baby, which I didn't know that at all.
Me neither.
But that's what I was told. They said more women, there's a lot of women, and I don't know the statistic offhand, but a lot of women miscarry their first baby. So they just thought, it was just a normal thing, and, just try again. And so that time period, it was really, really, really rough.
Yeah. Now, were you married at this time? Were you and your husband was married? How long had y'all been married?
We married in 2002.
Okay. Ooh, so y'all have been
We've been
for a
married
while.
for a while.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of an afterthought because I started school in 2005. So between 2002 and 2005, during that time, I was like, okay, Lord, whenever. And then in 2005, I started graduate school. So that became my excuse. When people say, why don't y'all have children? Instead of me having the courage to say, that's none of your business, or that's not something I want to discuss, I would say, oh, I'm in school. I'm just focusing on getting my master's
because you was trying to save face. You was trying not to, come off like you was being mean or
yes, even though on the inside it kind of hurt. Absolutely, I was tore up, and then it was kind of embarrassing, and then people making comments. So call it is what it is. I was lying, basically, saying, "Oh, I'm focusing on school," which I was, but that still was a desire of my heart. So that one, and what made it more difficult, I was due around Christmas time, so when Christmas rolls around, there was all kind of emotions that kind of came with that, and some stuff I can laugh about it now, But I vividly remember being in Walmart, and I told you I worked with pregnant and parenting teams.
Yeah.
I saw a former student of mine, and I knew one of her children she did not want. And so I saw her and her and her sister in Walmart, and she was just a cussing and, you know, you little MFer, and they so bad. And I remember being in the store, and I literally had a breakdown. I was crying to the point where I had to leave my cart full of stuff and leave because.
So did she see you?
Yeah, we were talking.
Y'all was talking,
and I'm asking her,
okay,
how's your children? How's this? And she's telling me about her kids because I worked with her, and I knew she had 2 children. I had been there with her, and then I quit my job and I moved on to something else. So when I saw her, we were just catching up. So when I asked her about her kids, they so bad. They da-da-da-da-da. Then the kids kind of was running around, you know, MF, sit down, and da-da-da-da. And it just broke my heart because I'm like, how can we talk to our kids this way? And so internally, I'm thinking, gosh, here she cussing her kids out, and here I am trying
to have
and it was too much. So I held it together while I talked to her, but then immediately I started crying, and I just
so she didn't even know you was crying.
She didn't know. She didn't know, and I just beelined it out the exit because I was like, I can't. It was too much for me to, you know, to deal with. So, and then again in 2014.
And this was still after your first, just your first.
Just my first one was in 2008. And then again in 2014, which I got a little bit further along, and I was so excited.
So how far along did you get with the first one?
I think maybe 6 weeks, 6.5 weeks. 6 to 7 maybe. Second go around, I had gotten farther, maybe to around 9, I believe. And I went to the doctor and I felt good. And they said, your numbers are like dropping. And I forget what the hormone, HCG or something like that, that hormone that's found in pregnancies, whatever that number is supposed to be, mine was going down. Which meant that the baby wasn't going to live. And I'm like, I'm standing, as they say, 10 toes down on the word of God, you know. And they told me this is coming. And so before I could schedule to have a DNC to, you know, have everything removed, I had the baby. No, that one wasn't at home. I miscarried that baby as well. So, but I think I was around 9 weeks, and they did testing. I was having, I don't know exactly why, but that first one, I mean, that about took me out for real. I just was not in a good space. The second one, I was so very sad because it had been from 2008 to 2006, so 8 years. And then I was just so excited. I had presented my husband, I had a little gift bag with all these different little candies, and he looking, and then
and he don't have any more, do we?
No.
So y'all doing this.
This is just, you're right.
Got you. Okay.
Yep. So when they did genetic testing, the doctor said, did you know what you were having? And I said, no. And she said, and I looked at the paper, and it said abnormal male. So because there was a genetic disorder, they, you know, just put abnormal male. And I'm like, oh wow, you know. So I had another surgery to, you know, remove the baby. But then the third time, which I was like, I'm done. This is an emotional roller coaster. By the time it was confirmed that I was having another baby, in a few days, I had miscarried at home. So I didn't even have to have surgery with that one because I passed that baby at home. And that's when, for better or for worse, really meant something to me. Because that's embarrassing, you know, just as a woman, and my husband, you know, he kind of got a soft stomach, you know, and just, so that was hard, but definitely not as hard as the first one.
So when you say embarrassing, like why do you say it's embarrassing?
It's embarrassing because, for one, I know my husband wanted children, so it shouldn't be embarrassing, but I felt embarrassed. Like, oh, my husband, am I not, everything he wanted and he doesn't have a family. When he was like, if we never had children, I'm good. So we good. But I didn't feel.
It was your own.
It was that was my feeling. Or when you have people, why you don't have children? And then you got to remember, I said I work with teens, so they would always say, Miss Guy, why you ain't got no kids? They don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know.
Yeah.
And so, again, I would say, y'all my kids. I'm investing in y'all. So that's where that kind of came from, and the shame. Or when some people did know, it's like a double-edged sword. It's like, you don't want to live in secrecy, but at the same time, when you are vulnerable and open up, you also are open up to people's unwarranted and unwanted opinions and advice. Okay?
Right, yeah.
For example, it was prophesied, actually several times, but it was publicly prophesied that I would have children. I'm great with public prophecies and confirmation of God's word, but the flip side of that is somebody came up to me, I see a stroller and I see Christmas and I'm thinking, you are lying.
Right.
I was Christmas is when I lost my child. What are you talking about? Or y'all need to go on vacation, or you need to go do this. I know what to do. It's just at that time it wasn't for me. So that's why I said just.
So did that cause more hurt than help?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because I didn't always show it. Because sometimes I wasn't quick on my feet to be able to respond.
I like that too.
Yeah.
I think about it afterwards.
I'm like, dang, I should have told him.
Yeah.
So what I should have done, my now self would have said, that is none of your business. I don't want to. I'm not going to discuss that with you. Well, I was a little bit younger, and I just didn't know, and I didn't have it in me. So sometimes I would just smile or whatever. So now, even though it's not with children, but with whatever, I'm not obligated to talk to you about my personal business. It is none of your business. And you can be polite. You don't have to be nasty, but I don't want to discuss that with you. But thank you. Yeah, I'm not going to say thanks, though. Thanks, sis. Because you say those things and you don't know, what the other person on the receiving end, what they feel like. So sometimes we need to hush.
Yeah, because I deal with that too. Like I deal with that now, where people is like, you need to do this, or you should have did this, or and I'm just like, thank you, but
we're not in other people's shoes to tell them what you think you would do this. But you don't really know until you're in
that person's shoes. Until you've been in the journey they've been in.
Yeah, so you can't say that. You say that, but you don't. Yeah, you don't really know. So So that now for those individuals who go through, IVF and all these different treatments or whatever, that's fine. I don't knock it. But for me, I did not want to do it. So I said to him, nope, I don't want to do that. And he thought it was just a quick reaction. He said, oh, you need to just think about it. I said, okay. But I knew I did not. I just didn't want to. I just didn't want to go that route. And so I left there and I said, well, if that's God's will, then that will happen. And I said, Lord, I want you to do it where if I have children, we will know that it was you and nobody else will be able to get the glory. I forgot I said that prayer. I did, because when I did get pregnant with my oldest daughter, who's 6, it came back to me. I was not on any medication. I hadn't went through any process or anything. I wasn't trying. It was God saying, boom, now is the time. And then the Holy Spirit brought back to me the prayer that I prayed. If this, happens, I want you to be able to get the glory. So I can't say, Dr. So-and-so did this with me, and this one, I went through this facility. I didn't have any of that. And so I met a pastor. I was working at a high school, and I met a pastor who I heard she would pray for people and they would have children. So I knew who she was. She didn't know who I was. So I went up to her and I said, hey, Pastor so-and-so. I introduced myself. I told her. She said, shut that door.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go. And she wasn't all loud.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. She prayed with me just as calm, just like how we talking. I'm over here like, I'm crying because that lady had went in.
I already know.
And every time she would see me, she would say, how's that baby doing? We haven't seen anything. Nothing is happening. I would say, doing wonderful, doing great. And then she told me, she said, you and your husband need to take communion every day. Okay, well, how long is that until you have children? She said, every day. And we did that. Now, my husband.
What do you mean, take communion? Like, is it like, okay, every time at church, make sure y'all taking it together, or is it something y'all doing on y'all
at
own?
home? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we took communion at home.
Okay.
Every day. Now, I got to be honest.
Okay.
There was a few days I missed.
Right. That's fine.
I tell the truth on myself, but my husband he didn't miss.
So, like, how did y'all? Because I never seen communion at home. So, like, what is that like? Taking communion at home, like, do y'all?
So we just the little plastic things that come in.
So y'all have that?
Yeah, we had that at home.
Really? Okay.
And we would just pray together.
Yeah.
You know.
So how did y'all get that? From the church? Like, did y'all just get it from the church?
You can order it offline.
Okay.
I believe there was a store or something.
Because I know it's somebody that's hearing it, like, well, where did they do that at? So
yeah,
we can
and
do
then
it,
the other thing is
Okay.
to even be even more simple. Because I was trying to think, where did we get that from? Ritz crackers.
I miss those.
Ritz crackers.
I miss those.
And the saltine crackers and some Welch's grape juice.
Okay.
We take a saltine cracker and smash them up.
Right.
We went to the store, probably Walmart or wherever, and got some grape juice. We prayed over it.
Yeah.
We wouldn't drink out of it.
Okay.
And we took communion every day. So we would pray every day.
Every day.
And then, Lord, we thank you, and we took communion and prayed every day.
Ooh, that's good.
Every single day.
So
the same year.
Okay.
This was in like February-ish of 2017.
Okay.
And then one day, I was like, oh, I don't feel good. I said, I don't feel good. And my husband said, oh yeah, you need to go to the store and get a pregnancy test. And I stopped. No, I'm not doing that. Because I've been down that road of, I was like, no. And so I said, I'm going to get me some Pepto-Bismol and go get me some Sprite and some Ritz crackers to make my stomach feel better. I went to Walgreens. I remember this like it was yesterday. I went to Walgreens and got my little crackers, got my Pepto-Bismol. I stopped by my mentor's, her job. And she said, oh, you look rough. Shirley Woods, the founder of the Ewell Wilson Center.
Okay. I think I've met her.
Yeah, she is a wonderful, wonderful woman.
I think she came to the church before.
Yes.
And I gravitated to her after she got up and spoke. I gravitated to her.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
And I said, I said, if you don't go somewhere, I said, I just got my Pepto-Bismol and my da-da-da-da-da. And she said, don't take that. She said, do not take that medication and anything else until you take a pregnancy test. And I started laughing because I'm like,
you don't know what you're talking
about. When I get in the car to eat my little crackers, the package was open. And I was like, oh, I ain't eating this. Somebody put something there. I ain't eating that. So I went back to the store, got me some more. And while I was in there, I said, I'll just buy a test. Oh my God, when I got home, and I was like, oh God. I was like, they were right.
Yeah. So you went back in the store because of the crackers was open, and you said, I'm just gonna
pick this up. And actually, I was like, I'm going to get this so I can shut his mouth and then call Miss Shirley and tell her,
to prove them
right,
wrong.
and then take my Pepto-Bismol. I never did get to take that, and whatever else I was, going to take. Yeah. So, and then the same year, I had her a few weeks early, but the same year, I had my daughter.
Same year.
The same year. Yeah.
Wow.
She was born December 16th.
So tell me that. So like you have your first daughter, and then you have your second. Are you like, okay, God, now I wanted just one. I wasn't asking for all this, or was you like, wow?
Well, no. To be honest with you, if I would have had a son, I probably wouldn't have had any more children.
Okay.
That's what I actually had prayed for.
Yeah.
And then I said, oh, I got one. Okay, well, whenever I'll have another one. And I sure was pregnant very quickly soon after. And then during COVID, 2 or 3 days before the world shut down in 2020, I found out I was pregnant again. And I was like, oh, yeah. So when the Lord does something, when he did that, he did it to the point where I have to take measures to prevent pregnancies.
Right.
You have to get on birth control. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, when God, opened my womb, he
said it is time.
And they are, so.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Okay.
And people think that is the real testimony. And it is, because it really is.
It's part of your
It's a miracle.
Yeah.
It's a miracle. And people think miracles just happen in the Bible days and that happened for them. No, it happens
for
now.
us too, yeah.
It happens for us. But the true testimony, yes, I'm grateful for my children. But now I can go back, and what my heart's desire really is working with people who are grieving and have struggles, whether it's infertility, miscarriage, stillborn, and adoption loss. Because that's a loss too.
Yeah.
Because before that, we were foster parents.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah,
okay,
yeah. I forgot
that.
Yeah, before my daughter was born, we were, even after.
How was that?
Well, it was a lot. Not that the children were, bad or anything, but it was a lot because it was just us for so long.
Yeah.
And then we got a sibling group of 3.
Okay.
So we went from no kids to 3 kids in one day. And then they have trauma issues because of, whatever happened. They're separated from their parents. And we had considered adopting them. And it didn't work out, and they ended up going back, and they were, I believe now, with their parents, which is a good thing. And so, but that still was a loss because we love those kids. And we,
Do you still keep in contact with them and things like that?
No, well, there was one, the youngest, and sometimes she would reach out, but I never met her biological mother. I'm careful with that.
You don't want to step on nobody's toes and stuff.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So every now and again, one of them will, reach out. But that was a loss because we treated them like family. We wasn't like, oh, those are the foster kids and them. No, you're part of our family. So I suffered in silence because people weren't talking about it. At least I didn't hear really talking about miscarriages. So for me, that's why I wanted to do something for people who had a journey like I did. Even though I have them now, I am very sensitive to people who were in my shoes. Yeah. So
do you
that's
still
the
have
real
the you had a group going for a little bit too, right?
Yeah, it was more like a social media group.
Okay.
But this year, for the first time, for those that I knew that had either struggled getting pregnant or had lost their children, I hosted a dinner for them. It is something God placed on me to do this. No, you need to be in order. If you are told to do this, then you need to do this and sit down. So I just went, I called her to the stage and I just said, hey, do you mind? And she said, go, absolutely. And I shared it. And even though people may have known bits and pieces, they didn't know. And I said everything and what God did. And so from that, the Lord spoke to me now. And I said, I'm not going to second guess, I'm going to do it. So it was a small group of us where I could just love on them and just say, and it was before Mother's Day, I see you, God sees you.
Yeah, that's good.
And they were really, I prayed about every little thing that that he told me to do to minister to them. So that's something that's new, and I definitely want to keep that going.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So Kela, through all of it, you had 3 miscarriages. Through all of that, how did you find joy in that journey?
Ooh. Every day I didn't feel, oh, one day is for me, being honest. But my true joy was, if you don't do this for me, I'm committed to serving you and to be content with if this is what's for me. And the thing about it is, we were Sunday school teachers, you know, we have worked with children, and so I was like, if this is what you want us to do, I'm going to do it, and not be jealous of other people or with my head hanging down. That's where I felt the joy of, if he doesn't, God has already been good to us, and I'm going to be content. And then when I had moments, it was a moment. It wasn't a lifestyle.
Right.
I found safe people. Because you need safe people. People say, oh, you need to talk and get it out. But when people talk and they get it out, are you a safe person?
So you got to make sure you are, because I've done that so many, I ain't going to say so many times, but I've done it where I've just poured out to the wrong people.
Right.
That wasn't ready.
Right. Some people are not ready, or they're well-meaning, well-intending people, but they say insensitive things. So I found, and it was a handful. Even now, here's the thing too, I still miss my other children. Yes, I'm glad for what he gave me. I still miss my other children. And so it was about 2 years ago, I was crying on Mother's Day. Not that I'm not thankful, but you don't forget. It never leaves you. But the joy is, I still am going to serve the Lord, and I'm going to try to be a good mother. So I think I found joy by, for real, learning how to be content, and then having good boundaries. You know, I just had to have boundaries.
Good.
And that's how I found.
That's good, because a lot of us don't have boundaries, and that's where we start feeling stressed out. We start feeling discouraged. All these things, because we aren't building boundaries for ourselves. So that's good.
And so what I also did was, my small little group that really knew everything, I told them, I feel left out. I feel horrible on Mother's Day. This is why you need to do a circle check, because they always made sure, whether it was a card or something, where I didn't feel, like I didn't matter.
Or in it alone.
Right. So I had some good people. Everybody didn't know that. I wouldn't tell that to everybody, because everybody, girl, what do you mean? You feel, you better be glad you're on this side of heaven. I am, but I'm still human. And I'm telling, and I'm expressing what I needed. I learned to express to my husband what I needed, because now this is a whole nother situation, but men and women, it'd be interesting to hear his perspective. We handled it totally different depending on which pregnancy it was. Because the second one, he took it very bad. And I was hurt, but I was a little bit more stronger. And I don't know if because he found out what the sex of the baby was, I'm not for sure.
That probably was. That probably was it. And then it could have been God too, because that first one, you were more weak, and he needed your husband to be strong for you. And then the second one, he wasn't, so he needed you to be strong
for him. So that's what I
love
I did. And when I had that first baby shower, God is my witness, it took 7 carloads of all the stuff from that baby shower. 7.
What baby shower?
Well, I had a baby when I had my
first
daughter.
one. Okay, got you.
My 6-year-old. When I had that baby shower, because people were happy for us. Like my old Sunday school kids came, and my pastors from back home in Muncie, they came. I had a supply for 9 months.
Wow.
So what I try to do now, all those clothes, all that stuff, I bless people. I can sell it and get some good coin.
Right.
But until the Holy Spirit tells me different, I will pray, and he will say, give this to this one. And we pray over that, because I want to be a blessing to them. So that's what God has done.
That's good.
Yeah.
What encouragement can you give to a woman that's out there right now who's losing hope because she's had a miscarriage or miscarriages? What encouragement can you give that woman that's losing hope?
I would say, number one, you are a mother. Number one, it's not, oh, it was just 6 weeks. So no.
You were a mother.
Let me rephrase. You are a mother.
Okay.
Okay. And to always, acknowledge the child that is in heaven. And I would truly, and not to, sound deep or a cliche, but for real, hold on to what God has said. If He has said, this is for you, hold on to that, no matter how bad that it looks. And to protect yourself, that may mean, you can't be around everybody at certain times. Well, where are your kids? Or why this and da 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 da. I have to stay away from that. I have to have people around me that I know that when I feel weak, it's going to pray me through.
Yes. Going to lift you up. Yeah.
And be there. And for real, if that's your desire and God's will is His word, quote the word and don't give up.
I love it. Kela, where can they find you? Because I know it's people out there like, where's she at? Where is she at? Where can they find you on your social media platforms?
You know what? So the kids, I work in a school and they told me I was old because I'm not on Instagram.
I know you're not on Instagram.
I'm not.
Yeah.
But I am on Facebook.
Yeah.
So under my name, it is Kela Johnson Guy or Grace for This.
Okay.
That's the online kind of
Gotcha.
stuff.
Yeah. So if you have experienced a miscarriage or lost an adoption,
adoption loss,
miscarriage,
infertility, adoption loss, and abortion.
Okay.
All of that. And even though,
or what about like even a mother or a woman who wants to have kids but never. It never happened.
Absolutely. Because the thing about it is, and especially to speak to abortion, even though that might have been a voluntary choice, still we're a mother, okay? And still need support. And God is my witness. I am connected to so many people who don't know my story that have all 5 of those things, including abortion. I'm going to minister grace to that person and grieve through that process too.
So what is the page called? What is the
Grace for This?
Grace for This. Okay, got you.
Yeah, with an exclamation point.
I love it. All right, so this is Kela Guy. Thank you so much, Kela, for joining us and just sharing this platform with me. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
So yeah, make sure you follow us we are on Instagram, Smiling Tears support group. We are on Facebook under Encourage Tierra. And if you have any kind of questions, comments, concerns, or even want to be on the podcast, maybe you'll look up and get on the podcast on smilingtearsfortwayne@gmail.com. Until next time, I love y'all, and we'll see you back here next week on Joy in the Journey. Love you.